They say if you don't learn from history, you're bound to repeat it. Well, let's try to make sure that doesn't happen because 2020 sucked, and I'm not trying to have another 2020. Hello everyone, my name is Michael Higgs. I'm a content creator from the Cincinnati Herald, and today I am premiering a piece that is near and dear to my heart. It's called Dissecting History. Pretty much what the series is about is me reviewing historical and oftentimes controversial events that affected all of us, both as Americans and specifically as African Americans, with the hope to gain some type of clarity or new information going forward into the future. They say if you don't learn from the past, you're bound to repeat it, so let's make sure that doesn't happen by watching this video. Thank you.
Reverend Cleave, brothers and sisters, and friends, and I see some enemies.
What Malcolm X was really trying to spell out in the Ballot or the Bullet was one thing, and that one thing is black nationalism. Now, what is black nationalism? Black nationalism is nothing more than the philosophy that states that black man needs to be the master and sole controller of their own communities.
What?
That's it. Not a hard concept to grasp, not too radical. In fact, listen to Malcolm X as he speaks common sense as to why you should build up the businesses in your own community.
The economic philosophy of black nationalism only means that we should own and operate and control the economy of our community. You would never find, you can't open up a black store in a white community. White man won't even patronize you. And he's not wrong. He got sense enough to look out for himself. And it's you who don't have sense enough to look out for yourself. But you will let anybody come in and control the economy of your community. Control the housing, control the education, control the jobs, control the businesses under the pretext that you want to integrate. No, you're out of your mind. The economic philosophy of black nationalism only means that we have to become involved in a program of re-education to educate our people into the importance of knowing that when you spend your dollar out of the community in which you live, the community in which you spend your money becomes richer and richer. The community out of which you take your money becomes poorer and poorer. And because these Negroes who have been misled and misguided are breaking their necks to take their money and spend it with the man. The man is becoming richer and richer, and you're becoming poorer and poorer. And then what happens? The community in which you live becomes a slum. It becomes a ghetto. The conditions become run down. And then you have the audacity to complain about poor housing in a rundown community. Why, you run it down yourself when you take your dollar.
Message!
Doesn't that make so much sense? I agree. Listen to Malcolm X as he explains more on his black nationalism philosophy.
Black nationalism is a self-help philosophy. What's so good about it, you can stay right in the church where you are and still take black nationalism as your philosophy. This is a philosophy that eliminates the necessity for division and argument. Because if you're black, you should be thinking black. And if you're black and you're not thinking black at this late date, well, I'm sorry for you.
One of the two tenets Malcolm X stressed under his philosophy of black nationalism was the political re-education of the black man. He believed the black man needs to be re-educated on the spoils he could receive from actually participating in the political system/game. Take a listen.
We must understand the politics of our community. And we must know what politics is supposed to produce. We must know what part politics play in our lives. And until we become politically mature, we will always be misled, led astray, or deceived or maneuvered into supporting someone politically who doesn't have the good of our community at heart.
The messages found in the Ballot or the Bullet are extremely contemporary right now. You would think that Malcolm X was alive today living under President Orange, but he's not. He said everything that he said in this speech in 1964, and it's 2020 right now. Listen to Malcolm X as he describes the political and racial climate going on in America in the 1960s.
Why does it look like it might be the year of the ballot or the bullet? Because Negroes have listened to the trickery and the lies and the false promises of the white man now for too long. And they're fed up. They've become disenchanted. They've become disillusioned. They've become dissatisfied. And all of this has built up frustrations in the black community that makes the black community throughout America today more explosive than all of the atomic bombs the Russians can ever invent. Whenever you got a racial powder keg sitting in your lap, you're in more trouble than if you had an atomic powder keg sitting in your lap. When a racial powder keg goes off, it doesn't care who it knocks out the way. Understand this, it's dangerous. And in 1964, this seems to be the year. Because what can the white man use now to fool us?
Malcolm X also spoke about the Russians in the 1960s. Now, I'm not saying we have a Russian problem in 2020, but we definitely got like a Russian entanglement or something. I don't know, situationship. I have no idea how the things that Malcolm X was highlighting in the Ballot or the Bullet is still here present in 2020. The reason why the Ballot of the Bullet hit so hard for me was because of the truths that are inside the Ballot of the Bullet, the truths that Malcolm X highlighted in the 60s. He spoke about a new generation of black folk in the country in the 1960s. Take a listen.
You got a new generation of black people in this country who don't care anything whatsoever about ours. They don't want to hear you old Uncle Tom handkerchief head talking about the honor. No.
Now, the new generation that Malcolm X was speaking about then in the 60s is not the generation that's walking around today. However, he did hit the nail on the head when he was speaking about how the new generation feels about odds and about getting what we want as far as justice and equality. We're not playing. Malcolm X used to unite and incite the crowd in Detroit on March 12th was the collective experiences shared by African Americans living in America during the 1960s. Take a listen as how he rallied the crowd to his points.
They don't hang you because you're a Baptist, they hang you because you're black. They don't attack me because I'm a Muslim, they attack me because I'm black. They attack all of us for the same reason. All of us catch hell from the same enemy. We suffer political oppression, economic exploitation, and social degradation. All of them from the same enemy. The government has failed us. You can't deny that. Anytime you live in the 20th century, 1964, and you walking around here singing, "We shall overcome," the government has failed.
The reason why he chose nationalism over all the other ideas or philosophies he could have chose was because during the time period, the 1960s, a lot of African and other Asian countries were gaining their independence via nationalism. Listen to Malcolm X as he states it.
When we look at other parts of this earth upon which we live, we find that black, brown, red, and yellow people in Africa and Asia are getting their independence. They're not getting it by singing, "We shall overcome." No, they're getting it through nationalism.
So Malcolm X believed that the African Americans living in the United States were nothing more than 20th century slaves.
Second-class citizenship. Why, that's colonization. Second-class citizenship is nothing but 20th century slavery. How are you going to tell me you're a second-class citizen? They don't have second-class citizenship in any other government on this earth. They just have slaves and people who are free.
And he believed during this time period that black nationalism was a cure needed to be independent from a neglectful, tyrannical, and racist government. Also, what really resonated with me was the feeling that Malcolm X gave. He gave the sense of African Americans being tired of being tired. He said, if you're tired of being tired, you can't be sitting down, you can't be singing, and you can't be marching.
This is part of what's wrong with you. You do too much singing. Today it's time to stop singing and start swinging. As long as you got a sit-down philosophy, you'll have a sit-down thought pattern. And as long as you think that old sit-down thought, you'll be in some kind of sit-down action. They'll have you sitting in everywhere. It's not so good to refer to what you're going to do as a sit-in. That right there castrates you. Right?
With that being said, if you listen to the speech now and you are aware of what's going on in 2020, not much has changed. And if not much has changed, that's because America hasn't changed and the response of African Americans haven't changed. So the solutions outlined in this speech can definitely help us going forward in the future. Black nationalism is a unifying force that we all can use and grasp to build a stronger black community and overall a stronger America. But this really isn't about America. This is about the black community being all that it can be. to be honest. With that being said, thank you for watching. I appreciate your likes. I appreciate your views. I appreciate your comments. Please comment, like, and share this video, and I will catch you on the next go around. Thank you. I hope you learned something.